Hello, bonjour, this is Benjamin Franglish for another video about God as the intellectual property from mankind, peoplekind, if you wanna play Trudeau style. But God being intellectual property, so God TM, so it's man's TM. It's like man made God as much as God made man, or maybe no, man made God. This idea of God, at least we have. Of course, this is a very sensitive topic that like everybody takes very in a profound manner. It's deep topic. So you have complete right to tell me to fuck off, which is fine. But it's not like about this. It's more like about how the idea of God as a person specifically has this will of saying, okay, finally, because this is idea of God, we need to obey to the rules. So basically, religions, like making people together, like religare from the Latin, religare to link people together, makes people also, how to say it, obey to some rules in a very practical manner. Is it working for the right reasons? Yes or no? Sometimes you need to show the sanctions so hardly, like hell, to prevent people from acting like monkeys, or like even if Darwin perspective you wanna say sometimes. When I observe some people who I hate the Darwin's theory acting so much like monkeys, I'm like wondering, are they proving the theory is right? No, but that's another topic. Man's property, man's intellectual property being God. God as this person. I'm gonna quote this philosopher, Feuerbach. Not good at writing the name because it's in German. I think I have it right. Yeah. Ludwig Feuerbach, that's his name. That he was like a disciple of Hegel. Ludwig Feuerbach in the 19th century, at the beginning of the 19th century, exactly, and he wrote the essence of Christianism and also a sense of religion in a general manner. He was saying that people, all the people, men and women, I will say just mankind, okay, that's it, or inclusive or not, mankind just projected their own imagination. So there is this Don Quixote fight we all have. Imagination is always ruling everything. In your friendships, relationships, in how you idealize somebody, how you actually can think negatively about somebody who is not not much in bad terms about you actually. So the imagination can be negative, over positive. It's quite hard to see the things the way they are in the simple way, but imagination can be individual imagination up to a collective imagination. But if you came out from a specific culture in a geographical space, you get this legacy of this collective imagination that will just be repeated like a custom. It's called traditions, basically, from generation to another generation to you. You will feel, and that's normal because you have so much love for the lovable and loved ones. You know, they're lovable after all, for your peers, the close ones, and they deserve love. Keep loving them. This is fine. It's not about disagreeing. But once you start loving, poof, you might think, I need to be also loyal to his or her ideas and ideals. Ideals can be incredibly beautiful. Problems, sometimes they make you live in your imagination once again. So that's what my ex-boss told me. Are you living in your imagination? You too, I guess. Everybody is some perspectives. He asked me this question. Actually, it was me about having told him I traveled from Vietnam to France by land, wanted to check through historical way, like different countries, from province to another province, what makes it in the way that there are many countries in one country. So so many things that make actually the two official enemies so close one to another. which could be quite stupid then if they hate each other in the name of their nation so proudly, like the Vietnamese can be towards the Chinese, or the Chinese arrogant toward the Vietnamese when they can be so connected. Thailand with Myanmar has this very dual, strong relationship when they're actually very into Buddhism, both of them, you know. Many aspects, you know, like France and Germany, when actually they are cousins germains, like German cousins in some aspects, you know. Also, they were like the legacy of Charlemagne, and that's another thing. Who converted by force anyway to Christianism the pagans in Germany. That was his story. Story was most of the time violent, is still violent. So there are like conflicts of interest, conflicts in terms of strength, and but that doesn't stop the idea that from the original place, through paganism, polytheism, shamanism, however you call it, to what we call the Abrahamic religions, who are like super seriously taken now, while these ones are not respecting the old ones, you know, like, they will not look at these religions with like, hey, you have to respect this idea of Zeus going around the different women with his angry wife era, stuff like this, you know. It's more like you need to take seriously one speech more to another. And no matter what, I was just talking about Zeus, Jupiter for the Romans, humans' behavior, all men are the same, and men saying all women are the same, no matter what. But humans' behavior, we see it also in the unique God, Jehovah, Yahweh, who said, I am a jealous God. So don't love other gods than me. That's it. Like no question asked. That's it. Well, okay. So in case this, some Hindu can say that also sometimes. There are many gods that actually they call Lord sometimes. Say Lord Shiva instead of like Shiva as a god. Who can say it's all part of the one. So the one would be God. But now I'm going into metaphors. But as I see it as a beautiful metaphor, and I will be happy to hear poetically speaking about God, everything, I want to conclude shortly as it's man transferring some of his qualities to amplify them, or some of his defects, somewhat, yeah, some of his just personality traits, you know, to amplify them as well to this God who has this power that man could not have to then otherwise could not accept not knowing. So got to know, at least secure answered. In case we make it God as a person, for sure God seems to be man's baby, man's, woman's, people's kind's baby, but it's like he is the creation, so it's a baby and can throw tantrums, but with superpower. You give the tantrum, it can give the deluge when Noah needs to get the boat and to get with some animals and these three sons who will make what they call the three main races and all. That it's also the idea of making tantrums with high powers, what many kings dreamed of doing and sometimes just did. So it's like a king plus plus, and versus the idea of a god being just a simple nature, as the Jewish philosopher who was then excommunicated by the Jewish community, Baruch Spinoza. So Baruch, I don't even know if I pronounce it correctly, but Baruch Spinoza, who was more into something called pantheism. Oh, small m, sorry for the m. Pantheism. So pan, which is like the extension, but like theism that comes from theos. Okay, so it's like pantheism, theos. Okay, theos, the god, as theology is coming from that theism. So pantheism, seeing God in a more absolute thing, not thing. It's like this abstract, mysterious, whatever you want to call it. Like as I said before, as a metaphor, but making it the personality out of from the human being and more belonging to nature. That can be a good way to do a short video now. It's better to stop and to continue into topics later.